afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back once again for Tier 3. And as you guys may notice here, it's raining here in Singapore. It is a downpour. I guess you can say it is Singaporeing here. Ignore the horrible pun, but welcome back to Tier 3 here in Intrepid Racing League. Holy cow, it is soaking out. Everyone's out here on the wet tires, it seems. This is going to be a full wet qualifying session. Let's hop on board with the one and only Solz and Dan, who are the brave souls to come out of the pits first. Of course, we haven't seen anything like this yet this season. I mean, it is only the third race of the season, and we see the McLarens come out in the beautiful chrome livery. It's an award for the doing one of the tests or the events in the F1 25 game. So pretty interesting to see that being used in multiplayer. Of course, the McLaren is also being used on Inhuman Dan as we see him go through the first sector. So the McLaren's the first two out on track. Behind them, I believe, is is Pitter Patter, who's also out on track. Behind them, there is an Aston Martin and a Red Bull and a Ferrari, and the whole works are out there. So we'll hop on board with Mr. Inhuman Dan and see what he can put out as he makes his way around this slippery surface, trying to get some heat into the tires, wiggling around a little bit. I think we also see U60, who's also out of the pits as well, and we also have the amazing Golden Sniper. Actually got his first podium in his the first race here in Tier 3, and we also have, if I can find him, Toasty, who's also out on track here. A few other drivers coming out of the pits now. Feed Me Scotch now also leaving the pit lane. There's a car in the wall, it seems, and I believe that might be JJ, because JJ has made contact with the barrier. So unfortunate for him. It's not something that he wants. It's not how he wants to start off his qualifying, I am sure. So we will now actually ride on board with him and see if he has any damage done to that car, which I think he might have a little bit of front end damage, which certainly will not help in the rain. Maybe some rear end damage, hopefully not though. It's, you need your rear wing to do anything, especially around this circuit where it's such high downforce and even in the wet. And actually we're now going to hop on board with Dan, since he is beginning his lap now. Going to drift his way through the first sector. His teammate very close behind. Of course, this is crucial to any bit of qualifying in the wet. You need to lay down get a dry line starting to form. Dan going to come across the purple first sector. Of course, that's first person across. Solz will be rapidly improving behind because Dan is setting the pace here around a wet Singapore. Of course, not really needed. The track will dry up on its own. Of course, impeding also will not matter as much because of the it's going to be, times will improve over time anyway. As Dan makes his way through the first sector now, we're going to watch him snake his way through the little tiny chicane. I do not know the names of these corners. There's too many corners around the circuit to name. Dan drifting his way over to the bridge section into the hairpin now. So he's going to make a run down to the first of two DRS zones in this third sector. Give me 1 second. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to mute for a moment, but just enjoy Dan's lap. Alright, my apologies. I am back here in the comm box at IRL. Dan now about to finish his lap, going to come to the final two corners. We'll have to brake for this. This will not be flat out like it usually is. Dan going to come across the line with a 150. It's a pretty good time for a wet track. Of course, now Solz should come across and improve on that by 10th. Solz now, of course, driving, I believe, in all three tiers now. We're going to hop on board with a Mercedes in the first sector. It seems to be going pretty slowly with a car behind. Now going to move out of the way. Might have been a little bit impeding there. Queso coming across with a 53.5, Pitter-Patter coming across with a 54. I think these might be the two who went out. Yeah, Queso, the one who went out on intermediates. Also Young, or Mark, who's still in the pits on the intermediate tire. Of course, I feel like at some point in this qualifying session, we will see people use the intermediate tire after the track surface gets a little bit of a dry line starting to form. Of course, wet tires will not be used for the entire session. They're just going to be used to clear the standing water that's on the track. We're going to come by now to Louis, who I believe has just started his lap. Let's see what he can do here, as we're going to have a few cars ahead of him, a little bit of traffic possibly, Dr. B being one of them, who's actually just ahead. Not sure if he's just coming out of the pits, but Louis here certainly flying. Clicked on the wrong person actually, as nope, still the wrong person, as Louis now about to finish his first sector. Yellow flag in sector 3. I'm not sure what the cause of that is. I think it may be Dan, who seems to be driving very, very slowly here around this circuit. As I think he invalidated his lap. He's going to recharge a little bit of battery, get in the way of his teammate Solz here. At the moment, McLaren's running 2-3, a great job from them. We're going to hop back on board with Louis as he still snakes his way into Sector 2. This track is going to feel like an eternity for these drivers, especially in this wet conditions, almost 2 minutes per lap, meaning that, you know, not many of the runs are able to be made before the end of the session. Probably only 2 or 3, maybe even 4 until the end. Depends if drivers stay out for multiple laps, which is probably what some people will do here in qualifying, especially in the wet conditions, trying to form a dry line to drive on. As now we see Louis set the purple middle sector, so he's flying on this lap. Certainly knows how to drive in the wet. He has Dr. B for company just ahead of him. Dr. B also setting a pretty good lap time, as Louis actually isn't catching him too much. But now in this final sector, it seems like Louis has the speed on Dr. B ahead. So what can Louis set here? As he's going to make his way through the final 2 corners of this racetrack, and it looks like it could be a pretty good time from Louis. No, actually, 51.4 is not the greatest time, but of course, still getting used to these wet conditions on the new game, and of course around a Singapore track, which famously is actually known for being quite wet. Monsoon season must be upon us here in Tier 3, as we're now going to hop on board with Toasty, who I believe is still on his lap. As, he's going to come through the middle sector as well. Let's see what he can do, sliding the car out, just narrowly avoiding the wall. Power sliding his way around the circuit. It looks like Mark is also out of the pits finally, as he is about to, I think... No, he's going to come into the pits. He's going to realize that maybe the medium tire, or the intermediate tires, are not the boot to be on here, as Young comes across now, sets the fastest lap with a 48.3. But Toasty now continuing on his charge as he comes through enters the final sector with the purple middle sector, actually getting his entry a little messed up there into the final sector, but it's okay now, as he's going to come around through the final 4 corners of this racetrack. A little chicane and then a double apex left-hander to finish off the lap. Sorry about that. I have returned. As Toasty comes across with the 3rd fastest time. Queso now setting a 1:47.7, an amazing lap time from him, actually on the intermediate tire. So maybe people could be realizing, hey, intermediates getting faster, the track's getting faster. I don't actually know how much time is left in this session, because there's a persistent yellow flag on my screen, from what I can only believe is probably Feed Me Scotch, who now enters the pits. It's also U60 who is out, but there's also another reason for the yellow flag, possibly maybe Pitter-Patter on an outlap as well. It looks like the rain has significantly lifted though, so possibly the intermediates are going to be pretty fast here around Singapore. Again, I don't know how much time is left because of that persistent yellow flag. Hiex actually might be the cause of that safety car. It's actually not. Hiex retiring in the pit lane. I'm not really sure what happened to him, but let's have a look at the McLaren boys again, as one is on a wet tire and one is on an intermediate tire. It seems like Solz could be the fastest driver on track. Dan actually invalidating his lap before he even began, but I'm sure he's going to want to set a benchmark here, see what he can do. As Solz now still blitzing the timing page on the wet tire. It looks like the wet tire might still be the best one to be on at the moment. Of course, this could cause issues in the race for if people get adjusted to this wet driving or even put on a wet setup for qualifying. Of course, I feel like either way it is 50-50 wings around this tight street circuit. But if people get adjusted to this wet weather driving, I wonder how they will do in the race. I realize I'm actually deaf in Discord. Apologies if anyone's in here. Now we watch Solz as he comes through the final sector. Purple sector 2 as well. So Solz 3 seconds up on his previous best here. It seems like the wet tire might still be the fastest tire at the moment. I'm not sure though. Do not quote me on it, as there are people behind on intermediates. Louis being one of them. We know he's a very fast driver here, fellow Canadian, along with a few of our other drivers here, JJ and Solz included, and actually including myself, Mr. Commentator. But Solz now setting a very, very fast lap here around Singapore. Actually going to go 2 seconds faster, almost 2 seconds faster than El Queso behind, who went on the intermediate tire, of course used. But it seems like in the right hands, the wet tire could be dangerous, and Solz certainly seems like to be the one that has the right hands at the moment. Mark now beginning his wet tire lap as I believe that's Young who gets out of the way, as Hiex has retired from this session. But yeah, pitter-patter, getting close to his time though, 2/10 off on the intermediate tire, so maybe it could be intermediates, maybe it could not be wets, who knows. But Solz at the moment could be on track for his first IRL pole position. I won't jinx it yet, as Mark now comes across sector 1. I don't think that was purple, so he was a little bit wide, almost invalidates his lap time, but gets to continue on, gets to push forward on this lap now. So he enters the second sector, actually having Dan and Solz ahead, I believe. Or just Solz, sorry, not Dan, but just Solz ahead of him, as Dan is actually in the pits with his intermediate tire. Mark now entering the tricky part of the lap into the bridge section, the chicane, and now heading over the bridge, doing well to keep within track limits. U60 now, so it's a 3 seconds faster time than Solz, so maybe I was wrong, and maybe the intermediate tire is just the tire to be on. The rain seems to have lifted a little bit as we see Mark now come towards our camera and enter the final sector. Purple sector 2 though, so maybe they could be onto something. Maybe the wet tire is still faster. I may be proven wrong yet again, as 2 purple sectors does seem to change my mind. There's a yellow flag, as I believe that might be Flyer DJ, or no, actually it is MJW who's off on the wall, trying to get out of the way to stop impeding others. But now we have to hop back on board with Mark, who comes through to finish his lap here. He is flying so far. What will he set is a 45.7, so actually I think those purple sectors were lying to me, as it seems the intermediate might be quite a bit faster now, as 3 seconds seems to be the gap, as Slayus now also sets a 45.9 on that intermediate tire. Also, how to mention another Canadian. So this lobby pretty filled up with the True North here, as we see a lot of people out, including Golden Sniper now out on his lap. He's 2 seconds improved on his previous time through the first sector, so 2 seconds improved in the first sector. What can he do through the middle sector? This guy has been flying so far this season, getting his first IRL podium. He's going to make it through the hairpin now onto the back straight. So the yellow flag in sector 1, I believe that's just a car getting out of the way as to not impede. I see Golden Sniper make his way into the right-hander, does well to avoid the track limits. Now going to head into the final sector. There's a lot of traffic up ahead though. It seems there is a Haas, a Red Bull, and 2 Aston Martins that are going to dive, or 1 Aston Martin going to dive into the pits or begin a lap. I'm not really sure, but Golden now going to come across the final 2 corners. What can he do? Double apex left-hander. He's going to come across the line with a 42.1. Amazing time from Golden, going to shoot up to P3 on the board, as his teammate, unfortunately, is down in P14. Of course, only staying a time in the wet tire, but a 49.2 is a great tire to be on, as it seems the intermediates are the better tire to be on. as it stands. Riser's unfortunately validating his in-lap, I believe. I think he just set that 43.3. But will we see the times go as low as a 40.0? I'm wondering that, and I'm wondering if things will change as we actually get into the 40s now. As Young, amazing lap from him at 40.6. Great job from him. And that V-carb actually setting, I don't really know actually what he set, but let's look at the sector times, actually going pretty quickly there. So great lap from him. So we get some yellow flags. I think that's just for people getting out of the way or running out of fuel. As who can we hop on board with now? It's MJW. This is someone who we haven't watched in a while. He's heading out on his outlap. We'll be due to join him later as his teammate Flyer DJ moves out of the way of two cars in front of him. One of them actually being not Toasty. One of them being Golden Sniper, who I think is out of fuel at the moment, and Toasty now is actually just coming out of the pit. So I don't know how much time is left in this session. I have absolutely no clue. Again, of course, persistent yellow flags. But we'll see if and when the yellow flags ever get lifted. Of course, Golden driving very slowly. I assume he is probably out of fuel. If I could guess anything, he's definitely out of fuel, as he's going to do very well to pull out of the way of anyone coming by, including the Ferrari. He's actually going to park. He could get fully disqualified here if he stays still for too long. Toasty now about to begin his lap, getting a feel for these intermediate tires. Going to go a little bit deep, but he will be starting his lap here shortly. Again, I don't know how much time is left in the session, so we might be pushing to try and make it. I don't know how long we've been here. Of course, these persistent yellow flags just kind of suck a little bit, but especially with the intermediates, you want to be the last one on the track so you get the best track, the driest track possible. But now we're going to watch Toasty as he starts his lap here in Tier 3, as he's going to come to the final corner and start his lap here, making his way up into Sector 1, up into Turn 1. He's going to have a few cars for company. He needs to qualify well here to get himself out of P16, and it looks like, I could be wrong, but it looks like the rain has stopped here. I'm lying. I'm fully wrong. I was just immediately proven wrong. It's Toasty now drifting his way through the first sector, lighting up the rears. Young going to retire from the session, I assume, because qualifying time we might be out of time for qualifying. Yeah, we are. We actually just ran out. So Toasty now on a flyer, 2 seconds up from his previous best time. As it stands, already doing better than JJ, the driver in front of him, but we'll see what he can do here. I don't know who's behind him. I think it's actually Solz, who has set a purple Sector 1. Solz flying here. Solz could be on for his first ever pole position, his maiden pole position here in a wet Singapore. As we see the McLaren fly past our screen here now into the first sector. Louis going to jump up. I didn't actually see Dan jumping up to third place. Amazing job from him to do a great job in this qualifying, just trying to get by at the very end of the lap, trying to get the best track conditions. Solz now heading into Sector 3 now, as we're actually going to hop on board with Toasty. He has 2 cars ahead of him for company here in Singapore. Let's see what Toasty can do now, as he's going to head the final few corners. I don't know what purple sectors he set, or if he even set any purple sectors, but he's certainly flying here around the bright lights. The first night race, the first official night race in Formula 1. Toasty now giving everything he got the final few corners, and he's going to come across for P3. Amazing job from Toasty. Now we're going to come by and watch Solz. Solz, 3 seconds improvement. What can he do? And it's P2 for Solzy here around Singapore. Amazing job from him in the special McLaren livery with the special McLaren helmet, and that's going to put a wrap to our qualifying. 0.02 of a second separating Solz and Young at the top of the timing page. Oh my word, ladies and gentlemen. That is probably the closest qualifying we're going to see in a long time. I'm sending this right here Ladies and gentlemen, that was a very good qualifying session. Oh my word. That was certainly Solz starting from P2 on the grid. Maybe he does have a knack for Singapore like he said he does. Amazing job from him here in this session. Probably, of course, from hating this game originally upon launch, he was not enjoying it at all. Now, qualifying P2 on the grid. But, yeah. Wow. And we're going to go to the order here of Golden Sniper in P8. We're going to have Toasty P4, U60, a great qualifying from him for the Kickstarter outfit in P3. Louis helping the Red Bulls get up there a little bit in P5. Dan P6, great weekend for the McLarens here, hoping to bounce back a little bit. Freeney in P7, Golden in P8. Unfortunate day for him. He's been qualifying near the front every single time. I believe so. Queso, the Aston Martin's doing pretty well, 9th and 11th. That was not an on-purpose joke. Jump to the back, the two Canadians, JJ and Slayus, further back in the grid. Hiex retired in qualifying. Not really sure what happened to him. DJ, P19. Mark down in P16. Not really sure what happened to him either. I don't think he got a lap on the intermediate tire. But that's going to wrap up our qualifying here. This was amazing to watch. But I'm really hoping we get a wet race now, because that changes everything if we also have a wet race along with the qualifying session here. And actually, it looks pretty dry. So this is going to throw a monkey wrench into the mix here. Sorry, just have a little bit of banter with Solz there in the chat. But we're going to have to sit here for a little bit, wait, hang out, have a good time. So, everyone gets their setups ready and gets their cars ready and whatnot. And give me a moment now, guys. I'm going to have to stand up for a second. Actually, we're hopping to the grid as the formation lap begins here in Singapore. And Pitter Patter is actually the one who ran up early. Shame on him. Shame on him. Kidding. It's a joke. Unfortunate for them to start a little bit early, especially around Singapore, where strategy does matter. Looks like the field is on the medium tire, except for Hiex, who starts on the hard. A very bold choice from him. Singapore, known for safety cars. He's going to need to get a great start here if he wants to do anything in this race. P20, starting out from the back of the grid. Solz, of course, I think this might be maybe his highest qualifying position in IRL. I'm not sure. Do not quote me on it in any way, because I have literally no clue. Of course, we now get to watch everyone come through and get to see all the beautiful cars here in Tier 2, or Tier 3, sorry. Of course, we have a dry race, which I think the drivers always love. They don't want any wet on the track. But Singapore known for safety cars, so hopefully nothing crazy here happens. As DJ and JJ, two very hard names to say together, must have made a little bit of contact under the safety cars. They're now back at the starting grid. Will be ghosted to get out of the way of the other 20 cars, or other 18 cars, sorry, that are on track, except for Hiex, who's sort of behind. I'm out of water. It's not good. But now we watch Young. Actually, I'm gonna go get some water. I have a bit of time. I'll be back, everyone. In a moment, sorry, my great apologies. Apologies, everyone, I'm back. So now, the great timing. The grid is now forming up here as everyone gets the line. As Solz doing very well to take his time lining up. Doesn't disqualify U60 though. You see how much that margin is. A lot of people getting disqualified here on the lineup, including Toasty. As now we're going to watch the lights fade away here in IRL to start the race. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 light. And away we go for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's a great launch from Young and the others. Is actually one of the Williams. It's an amazing launch as well. Solz now going to try and go around the outside of Young. A little bit of contact made between the front two running cars as we're going to hop back through the grid to see if everyone made it out okay. It seems like everyone did. Toasty getting a little bit spun there by someone, it seems, as a little bit of contact as Toasty's actually ghosted, it seems, here in this race. I don't really know what happened to him. I think he must have had a little bit of contact, but Young now, Solz very close to the back of him as well. It's doing very well to follow close behind. We're going to watch the fight at the front. Seems like Toasty lost a lot of positions off the start here. Of course, everyone on the medium tires, but now they're heading into Sector 2. Solz, Toasty still very close together. Mark making up 8 positions on the start. Great job from Red Bull here. So there's a massive pile up in the back, it seems, as JJ is in the wall, and that's going to cause a safety car here already. I think the only winner out of this might be... give me a second, guys. Sorry, guys. I need to mess someone. Dr. B getting a 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Unfortunate for him. I don't really know what happened there. But there is a safety car here. I believe there's a safety car. Or maybe a VSC. It is a VSC. So I thought, oh, there actually were green flags again now, as Solz takes the lead of this Grand Prix. I don't know what happened there, but the final corner, I guess Solz got the jump on Young. They're going to go side by side through the final corner. Solz going to go a little bit wide, but now they're still wheel to wheel as they head into the first corner. U60 right alongside. They're going to go 3 wide into turn 1, 3 wide around Singapore. U60 going to try to stick a nose. Solz now making a move around the outside, just getting a little bit off track there, but now Solz, who was in the lead of this race, now falls goes to P2 as Young now slowly getting away as Solz opens the DRS for the first time in this race. A lot of people pitting here in the back, Toasty included, the Alpine driver, as I assume he's probably going to go for it, begin going on his hard tires now in this race, as a lot of drivers come into the pits. Golden now makes his way up to the P7, but Mark, probably driver of the hour right now, making up 10 positions off of that race start, as Golden actually following very close behind, might try and stick a nose somewhere but does not. So they make their way through Sector 2 now into the bridge, the tight little chicane that is. Golden getting a really good run through there though, and actually all hitting the wall. Golden now, unfortunate for him, I think he actually lost an end plate because of that little mistake that he had made through the bridge. So he's going to have to pit to fix that. Young now pulling a gap slowly to Solz, but now the double DRS zone in Sector 3 opens up. There's a yellow flag behind, as I believe that is Flyer DJ, who found the barriers in the back. Of course, he's not out of this race, though he continues on as Young now in the lead of this Grand Prix. Still, only person with a penalty at the moment is Dr. B, who does have that 10-second time penalty. But now Solz going to have the run here on Young. Of course, Solz with the DRS. Solz going to try and stick a nose on the inside, but does not, or unable to, as following very, very closely to Young, as U60 is also there now, as we're going to hop on board with him to see this battle, as U60 might try and go for a late braking move, but he does not. So now he will have DRS, ruins his exit into the first DRS zone on the circuit, actually breaking the rest of the cars behind. So now it's a 3-car fight for the win here in IRL. Solz actually mentioning earlier in the week that he wants to be back on the podium. He wants it, and now this could be his chance for the first time in a long time for Solz. Great job from him to qualify well, and now challenging for possibly even a race win here in IRL. Louis actually getting past Frenny. I did not see that in the back there, as these 3 cars are also very close, as Golden now 2 seconds behind, now with wing damage. Unfortunate for him. He's going to need that front wing, especially around a track like this. Alcaso very close behind, as Golden now going to be understeering everywhere, of course, with that wing damage. And there's 2 packs of 3 cars, it seems. It's actually Louis catches up to the 3 cars ahead, as I'm sure they probably Coriolis effect, or Concertina effect, sorry, through the middle sector where it's so tight, and actually is unable to get DRS because of the double DRS zone, but will now have another opportunity to get some DRS on the front straight, or will he? No, he will not actually, as this will give U60 the opportunity to run away a little bit. Louis now in the fast lap of the Grand Prix without DRS, so an amazing job from him to catch up to his cars ahead. He is flying so far in this race, and actually is able to just barely latch onto the DRS of U60 ahead. And Young now still has Solz behind. This is now a 6-way car, or 6-car fight for the lead. We're going to hop back now with Golden and Dan here, the two buddies, the two, I think, ex-teammates at some point, I believe, and now are going to be fighting wheel to wheel here around Singapore, as Golden, of course, like always, on -2 battery level. Nothing changes from race to race, believe it or not, gentlemen, or ladies and gentlemen, sorry, there's a multitude of audiences out there watching IRL, missing an M plate, of course, but now Dan is going to be following very closely behind. Of course, Golden's going to be limping around this racetrack, trying to hold on to the back of El Queso here, as Toasty slowly making his way back to the field, up down to P15. Great recovery so far from him. Not really sure what happened to him in the first lap, possibly getting some damage, but ended up surviving and is now making his way back to the field on another set of mediums now, rather than the hard tire like I originally expected. We look in the back, and we see Serenity back in P20, having a very unfortunate race, as JJ actually is not in the lobby anymore. Actually, he may need another invite. JJ actually asking for an invite. I can try. I don't know if I actually have him added. I don't have him added, so someone else will have to invite him if they are listening to this. Solz now actually breaking DRS from U60 in the back, as Dan picks up a 3-second time penalty, still holding on to the back of Golden. They're not going to be very happy. It's going to be slowing them down. Don't know how Golden is still holding on to the back of El Queso up ahead, and I also don't know how Golden is keeping Dan back from behind, but we will not question this. Queso now still in this little lead pack of cars here, P7 down to P9. Looks like we got little three-car bunches, and actually Toasty now is probably the closest fight apart from the trains. We're now going to watch Toasty as he tries to overtake Pitter Patter here, of course on the fresher rubber, I believe only by a lap or two, maybe only by 1 lap. But we'll see what he can do around this racetrack, as he's going to open the DRS and actually have a chance to possibly overtake here into the tight left-hander in the first sector. Going for the switch move, going to go down the inside. Toasty now gives him the room, and I think the Pitter Patter are going to fully cut that corner to keep the position, so I'm not really sure what happened there, but Pitter Patter actually lets Toasty by, it seems, as I think he realized that he did wrong there and cutting the corner, possibly an illegal overtake, but I'm not fully sure. Pitter Patter might not be very happy with that one, as he seems to be fighting still, but Toasty on the fresher rubber, he's not going to challenge anything, as they now head into the double DRS zone. That is the 3rd sector, and now we're going to watch from the back rear view camera and see if Pitter Patter has a response to that move that Toasty made. No, not going to try a move here, but we'll try one here for certain, as Pitter Patter will now have DRS all the way down this back straight now. Will he launch a late move into the next corner? No, he's not going to, as they have Flyer DJ for company ahead now. Actually, Toasty might be able to stay safe and actually get onto the back of DJ there, but now we're going to hop on board with Young, who has Solz for company, very, very close behind. And we're now going to watch this battle unfold between these two titans here around Singapore. Solz doing a great job here in this race so far, did an even better job in qualifying, getting his car up there, and now able to battle here with Young, as U60 unable to catch up behind. Now slowly drifting away from the pair of cars ahead. As actually it seems there's yellow flags. I'm not really sure what that was from, but there is yellow flags behind, as U60 closes the gap a little bit, and actually Solz losing a little bit of time to Young now. So he continues on his charge, but hopping back now to Mark, of course, who had probably the start of his life, starting from I don't even know what position he started in. I think it was actually If I remember, it would have been P16, and now up into P6. Of course, looking at all the different tire offsets, a few people opting for different types of tires in the back. But now, I'm going to click that. Young now continues to lead us away here in this Grand Prix. Ahead of Solz is the yellow flag behind. It seems that might be Feed Me Scotch, who was in the wall for a moment and is now back out and able to run again. I'm not sure if he has any damage on that Haas. I believe he does have some front end plate damage, possibly. I'm not sure. The camera angle is no good, but this is a beautiful camera angle. Even though we cannot see the damage to that car, he's actually hit the wall again. I believe there definitely has to be some damage on that Haas now as he understeers everywhere around this circuit. Louis now getting past U60, two previous title contenders in Winston Racing Series, not so much in IRL, but these two still, it's good to see them still continuing to battle it out, just like Lewis and Max in Singapore. Of course, they're not battling for P1, or not in Singapore, in Hungary, they're not battling for P1, they're battling for P3. But Lewis, and actually a late move from Freeney, we see that at the bottom of our screen, as he's going to really push his way past U60. He wants that position, and he wants it now. No more waiting. He does not want to be stuck behind there. Mark now also could take this opportunity to strike on the back of U60 now, as U60 could be a little bit misshapen from that little bit of contact with Freeney. U60 going to try and defend this, but Mark going to just stay alongside and continue on. My headphones are going to die. I just got a low battery warning on my headphones. This is unfortunate here for me, but you know what isn't unfortunate is Hiex, who makes his way up from P20 now in P16, starting on the hard tire. No early safety car except for the early VSC, but that doesn't hurt him as much, as he doesn't lose as much time. But now Hiex going around the outside of DJ through the third sector, able to pick up that position as Golden Sniper is tumbling down the order. Actually, no, didn't tumble down the order. Pit for a fresh set of hards and a fresh wing here, so he should be flying around this racetrack. Did not realize that he had pit. I did not see that on the timing tower. Is now Toasty trying to close the deficit of almost 11 seconds to Dr. B ahead. Not sure if Dr. B is on any fresher tires. I don't think he is. Toasty, though, losing a little bit of time on the straights. I don't know if Dr. B could be on a lower downforce setup than him, but Toasty losing time everywhere, it seems, to Dr. B. So Dr. B could be on a scorcher here today in this race, as he continues to push on in this race. We don't see a lot from him. He's been very unlucky in the first few races of the season, but now seems to finally possibly found a knack here in Tier 3, and now running just 1 point or one position outside of the points. He's doing a great job here in this race so far, as there's a yellow flag, it seems. I believe that could be Feed Me Scotch, who dives into the pits here, possibly for a wing change. Hopping back on board with Young here, who still leads us off, but Solz now has fallen way behind, and now he has a Red Bull for company. That's Louis directly behind him as Feed Me Scotch gets serviced in the pits, and Solz will now have to try his best to defend from Louis behind, and then possibly even from Frenny. Hopefully it doesn't get down to that, but U60 losing 3 positions now in the last few laps as he continues to fall off of the pace from the front runners. Speaking of that, Toasty unable to do much here. He might have burnt out his tires a little bit. His pitter-patter now is very close behind. I think pitter-patter is on the hard tires, as Hiex now also closing up on Golden, but Golden on the fresh rubber, brand new medium tire, or brand new hard tires. He'll be doing great in this race in the later stages. But Toasty now going to get past Risers, who is in the pits for his first stop this race, I believe. Let's check. Yeah, so yeah, I believe that is Risers, who heads in the pits for his first stop. Of course, Singapore is, I think, one of the longest pit lanes on the calendar. It might be the longest calendar on the IRL calendar, because we don't have Imola or well, actually we had Great Britain. I'm fully lying, but Young now actually losing a bit of time to Louis. Louis actually that might have been what Solz needed. Louis just needed to get past Solz, as now Solz is able to charge up, hopefully. I keep calling him Solz, but of course his name is now Rhythm. But trying to charge up to the back of Young, is actually, it seems like Louis might be the man for the job to get past this very quick V-carb Of course, you rarely see the sister team ahead of the mother team here, in real life at least, but in IRL, of course, it's a different story. The V-Carbs are very quick, of course, due to this being a equal performance championship. See the field separating a little tiny bit behind, as I want to look at the gaps now, as we already are starting to get into some lapped traffic, possibly. Fastest lap still held by Louis. Don't think we do fastest lap point here in IRL, but Solz making a little mistake, it seems, as he loses Louis ahead. Unfortunate for him. He's going to be under attack by Frenny soon. Hopefully Frenny does not do what he did to U60 and really force his way through here. Hopefully Solz can keep it together and hold on to his podium position here. Of course, he was talking the other day saying he wanted to be back on the podium, like I mentioned earlier, and this is his shot to get that. Is Dan running in P7. His teammate doing a great job. MJW could be on for his first points of the season here in IRL. He recently picked up no assists, no racing line. I don't know if he is not still on no assists, but he's going to have a lapped car behind. Sorry, that's actually Feed Me Scotch behind, who's a lapped car. The nearest car to him is Dr. B. As there's a yellow flag, as it seems that Feed Me Scotch has gotten his back into the wall and is sideways on the circuit, as people are going to try and avoid him. Of course, he is ghosted, so he does not have to worry about getting in anyone's way. But unfortunate from him, I heard the bang in the background, the yellow flag pop up while watching MJW. So MJW now, as Feed Me Scotch is in the wall now and has retired, and there is now a safety car. And this just ruined the Alpines race entirely, as they've pitted for fresh rubber, and this gives everyone else ahead a free pit stop. Who loses out from that? Solz loses out, actually, I think, as he's the only one to stop in the front running pack. Actually, he's the only winner from this, as I believe he's going on for a 2-stop in this race. U60 now loses out a lot from this, dropping into P10. But and actually, it seems that Dan finally gets his wing fixed in the pits as well, as U60 is going to do well to get past them. Too bad the two Alpines are unable to do much here. It's the VSC. It was a VSC. Sorry, everyone. I did not realize that was a VSC. So actually, maybe people aren't going to gain as much as they thought they would. But Solz in a great position to get a free pit stop out of that, losing, I believe, only 2 positions, but now on a fresh, I think that is a medium tire here. So Solz now in a great position to gain on the cars ahead. Only 18 seconds. Oh, he's going to hit the wall, though. I don't know if he gets any wing damage from that, but yeah, he's not going to be very happy about that. Phoebe Scotch leaves the session after causing a little bit of panic here in Tier 3. Everyone clamoring into the pits, but actually, no, I lied. If it was a full safety car, it would have been bad, but the Alpines now are running 8th and 9th on the fresher tire, and actually, I look at the gap, are not within pit stop range of the leader, but are certainly within pit stop range of... and there's another yellow flag as Hiex retires from the session. I believe that's actually an on-track retirement, which, if anyone knows, is not allowed in IRL. I don't really know what happened there. He's going to be stopped on circuit. This shouldn't cause a safety car, though, as he is a retired car. The Alpines, though, getting very close on circuits. They might be doing battle here in IRL. Golden on the fresher rubber should be due to let Golden Sniper pass, as Golden needs to use the most out of these tires unless Toasty is faster. But these guys may just be left to fight, as their team principal is currently in the commentary box. He's going to weave as they almost make contact on the straight there. I don't know what's happening between the two Alpines there, but Golden now going to press on in this race. Hopefully, as the leading Alpine on the fresher tires, should be good to do well in this race. Of course, Solz now doing amazingly. Dan's actually going to retire from the session. Unfortunate for him. Don't really know what happened there. But Solz definitely not going to be very happy about that. Dan does have a tendency to retire mid-race a lot of the time. But 3 cars are already out in this race, unfortunately, as if we lose a few more, we could be down to everyone running in the points. I believe it's only 8 more cars, and we're down to everyone running the points. I think Solz actually cutting back to this. Solz now setting the fastest second sector of anyone in the race. has closed that gap now to 11 seconds to Mark, and what presumably is only 18 seconds to lead. Frenny's going to hop into the pits as he's going to lose the position to Solz for sure here, and probably even come out about 10 seconds behind Solz as he enters the pits to get his car serviced. Now, Solz, fast lap of the Grand Prix, 1:33.3, a blistering lap from him. Of course, way faster than the actual qualifying pole time because it was wet. U60 now setting the fastest lap on the hard tire, I think only by a few thousandths. Solz, who set a 1:33.355, and U60 setting a 1:33.335. So only 200ths between them. That 200th still haunting Solz even after qualifying. Of course, 200ths was the gap between him and pole, and it's also the gap between him and U60's fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Frenny actually losing a lot of time now. Comes back out in 7th. Solz going to have to do another stop in this race. Frenny possibly could be going to the end of the race on this hard tire. Of course, safety car here could save the 2 Red Bulls, who are currently running 1-2 in this Grand Prix. Mark leads Louis by 1.8 seconds. It's a yellow flag ahead as it seems that Solz is in the wall, but gets going again. Good for him. Thank goodness, as Golden and Toasty still fumbling around here in 8th and 9th place. Another yellow flag, though, as I think that is Louis who has hit the wall and now is missing 2 end plates. And everything has come undone for the Red Bull outfit, as now he's going to surely drop down the order. Now he has to do a pit stop and a wing change. Mark now heading in the pits. Now he's even going to be stuck behind his teammate here as well. Everything is coming undone for Red Bull here in this race, as I need to go to the interval gap, as now Solz takes a commanding lead of this Grand Prix. The only car that is close to him is actually the lapped car of Solz, I believe, and behind that is Young, who is still about 7 seconds behind him. Of course, Young on the hard tire will be faster in the later stages, and Solz will have to do another stop, but a safety car completely negates that from thought. So all it takes is one safety car, and this race could surely be Solz here in this race. Of course, we don't want to bank on a safety car, but it could always happen. As Golden still running in 7th position, Toasty running with 6 seconds behind him. Golden now won't be gaining on Mark as much as he would like to be, but he's going to have to make another pit stop, as I don't know if he will be able to extend these tires to the end of the race. Of course, the safety car saves a lot of people's races here, but also hurts a lot of people. A few of the people who it hurts would be Louis and Mark, actually, who would, of course, lose all the positions that they lost in the pit stop for certain this time. As Young now closing the gap to Solz slowly, as there's only closing about a few tenths per lap as the medium tires start to give way a little bit here, as Solz coming up on some lap traffic. I believe that is Flyer DJ ahead of him. It's of course shouldn't get any dirty air because he is a ghosted car, and Solz will just be able to hang out behind him, won't actually have to do anything. Solz now overtaking the lapped car. You see the pace difference between those two in the first sector. First, Flyer DJ, even on the newer tire, unable to do much. Actually, that is Flyer DJ, because MJW is currently battling. Or maybe that was sorry, where is DJ MJW getting past Toasty through the final sector racetrack. I think Toasty might be due for a pit stop soon, as actually as I say that, he comes into the pits now, gonna slap on a fresh set of hard tires here to try and do something. This is yellow flag in sector 1, as I'm not really sure what happened there. Someone lost a little bit of control of the car. Could it have been the Red Bull of Louis? No, could it have been the Red Bull of Mark, possibly hitting the wall somewhere. I'm not sure if he has any damage on that Red Bull. Does not look like it from this angle, at least. As Toasty now gonna have to try and recover again, coming out in P13 now. 16 laps to go on this hard tire. It's going to be a difficult task, but he should. If anyone could do it, it'll be him. So we now watch Solz. The gap still closing behind him. Is there anyone on track that is close? It seems Risers Louis is actually close to MJW here on track, as 1 second separates them. He's going to get the DRS. Will there be any bold moves from Louis here under the bridge? I don't think so. Louis on the newer tires comparatively to MJW. But hello, Daniel. What happened to you, man?
Oh, I came out the pits and just bashed the wall and I gave up.
Oh, makes sense. But now we see Louis actually as he heads down the back straight. Now has DRS. Let's see what can happen here in this race now. As he's gonna have the overspeed on MJW. Gonna try and go down the inside, and actually might just make the move stick. Gonna go a little bit deep, cut the corner a little bit, but makes the move stay here in Singapore. I'm trying to change the gaps as now we see Louis jump up to P8. A great race from him so far. Unfortunate for his little mistake. We'll have to message Dan. Now we're gonna hop back on board. Solz still leading this race. I think actually he just set a purple sector. I might be seeing things, but of course I am known to see things a lot. We see this beautiful camera angle of Solz going around the streets of Singapore, but now we see these cars come back into the fight. El Queso now in 4th position, catching U60 ahead actually. Let's see what the tire difference is. 5 lap mediums to 6 lap hards. These mediums are going to be struggling, and of course El Queso has some company with Frini behind. I don't think Frini actually has DRS here in this train. No, he does not. So El Queso the only one here with the advantage, gaining slowly on U60, but U60 will have a better tire by the end of these next few laps. And El Queso, of course, will definitely have to pit again. So Golden Sniper actually in position to take that position if he stays out until the end of the race. But his tires are going to be screaming now. As Frini now very close behind, late braking into the first corner, and we'll actually see now as these 3 cars continue to train through the first sector now. As Frini is going to try and line up El Queso here. He takes a great line through that corner, and now could just get the power down. Running a little bit low on battery though. Is he going to have the speed to overtake El Queso? I'm not sure. Going to try and send a late move, late on the brakes. Going to get a little bit of a squeeze. Going to leave the room though, and actually it is Frini who makes a bold overtaking attempt and gets the move done on El Queso, who's struggling on those tires now, it seems, as Solz now still in the lead of this race. He's going to have one more pit stop to go before he finishes this. These tires are going to be screaming though, as well. We see Young actually come into the back of the picture. Of course, Young will not have to pit again in this race, but Solz will. Solz pit stop at the moment will put him back down into P6. There's a massive gap that's formed. The only way Solz, I think, can actually kind of save his race is if there is a safety car. So hope, or if he makes a wondrous charge back to the field. Of course, everyone ahead will be struggling on old tires. Young might actually be forced to pit onto the medium tire before the end of this race if Solz decides to. Toasty picking up a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunate for him. Running in P at 13 at the moment, still waiting for the drivers ahead to make another pit stop, as he did undercut a lot of people and actually is now doing very well to close the gap to Pitter Patter ahead. Every few corners he is gaining about a tenth or two, just due to the tire advantage that being on fresh rubber gives you around here. Of course, Singapore, a very high deg circuit, but on the hard tire, of course, they don't wear as much as they normally would. But jumping back up to Solz, is anyone on track close? Frini actually is close to the back of U60, and they're actually in the DRS zone. Let's see. Frini going to go for another late move into the same corner. No, he's not. Frini on the hard tire, so I believe that he's going to be here to the end of this race as well. As Golden slowly slipping back from Mark ahead. I believe these few are still waiting for a safety car in this race. Solz needs to make his mind up, see if he's going to pit or not, as there's still 13 laps to go in this Grand Prix, or 14 laps to go in this Grand Prix, sorry. As Frini making his way through the middle sector, slowly closing the gap to U60 ahead. We're seeing the Williams driver true pace here around this circuit on the fresher rubber, I believe. Let's have a look. Actually, 3-lap fresher tires. As we'll see what he can do now. Actually, U60 should be getting DRS by because of the lapped flyer DJ. Or no, he's not. It's Frini now opening up the DRS. Going to have the run on U60. He's going to make a late braking move. He's going to line him up, but no. Does not get it done. He's going to have the better line, though, through the final sector. Let's see. A little bit of snap on the exit. Slay is going to retire from the session as he ends up in the wall, as Actually, I believe he just retired on track, it seems. I'm not really sure what happened there, but another yellow flag will bring out the safety car and potentially could save Solz' race here. There's another yellow flag, but it is just Toasty on the back of Risers, so I believe I'm clicking on the wrong people, as Toasty now gonna try and go for a late move on Risers, unable to make anything of it though. Toasty, of course, in the fresher tire, now gonna be chasing down Risers. Risers going for a little swerve there on the straight, but Toasty now just being let through by Risers. But Risers gonna brake late, actually make a little bit of contact, and spinning himself out on the circuit. There's now a yellow flag on track. I think that was a very late move from Risers, it seems, as he continues on this race now to the final sector. I'm not sure if he has any damage on that kick Sauber. I really doubt he does, except for possibly a little bit of tire damage. But, you know, ultra defensive. Actually missing an end plate, so I'm not really sure what happened there, but I believe might have just been a late move. Toasty, of course, had a DRS and was pretty far past him before he made the move into that corner. But now, Solz now pulling the trigger. He's going into the pits, so he's going to probably pop on a set of hard tires, as now we watch Young take the lead of this Grand Prix. But now Young going to have to make a call here, as it's either he needs to get past or needs to pit again and run the risk of Solz possibly catching him. 11 laps to go in this Grand Prix. The hard tires are going to make it, and he has a pretty big deficit of about 8 laps. Actually, not going to have much traffic ahead of him. And Freeney actually also comes into the pits here, I believe, probably for a set of medium tires. For a set of soft tires, that has to be a mistake, because 11 laps on a soft is not making it. I don't know what the Williams team is thinking here, but 11 laps on a soft tire is not going to work. Could be going for fastest lap, but he doesn't have the pit window behind that he used to. So Freeney making a bold decision by going on the soft tire is actually Mark now. I believe that is challenging U60 for position at the front. Mark hitting the wall though. These tires are really giving out on him as he struggles his way around the few corners. Solz now, we're going to watch the gap to the leader for Solz. 23 seconds in between him and the leader of this Grand Prix. 8 lap fresher tires. This is Solz' chance to get his first ever race win here in IRL. Of course, now Queso with a lot of time penalties, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. 6 seconds of time penalty. Solz actually within that window now. So we're going to hop back to the tire sheet here, as we're now going to watch Mark. Actually, we're going to watch Solz, because this is the important one to watch. As Queso going to dive into the pits, and U60 as well. They must have seen that gap to Solz coming down in the background and realize that they need to react as well. So Solz now, as it stands, on for a net podium, as Louis still struggling on those hard tires behind. But we'll watch this gap. We'll watch this middle sector and see if Solz can gain on the drivers in front. He's been doing an amazing job here in Singapore. He's going to run up upon some lapped cars, but they won't have to move for him, as of course they are lapped. Flyer DJ and Serenity still fighting it out up ahead, but now they are ghosted for Solz. They all clear away for him, as Solz would be able to just drive through the pair, make his way through the middle sector, but he is closing rapidly on Mark. And so Solz eventually actually going to get the double DRS here, I believe. So Solz will be gaining massively from this. And actually, the lapped cars coming to his advantage here in IRL. Going to get DRS again, I believe, actually. Opening it up for a second time, as the lapped car still stays firmly in front of Solz. Solz going to brake nice and late into this corner. Actually able to cut down a second within just a lap, gaining tenths every single corner now Young will have to react here for sure. 19 seconds separates them. Young could pit Solz now, so the fast lap of the Grand Prix with a 1:33.2. Even faster than Frenny could set on the soft tire. One moment, guys. Sorry, I have returned. Everyone, Frenny, actually I lied. Now saying the fast lap of the Grand Prix, I'm going to eat my words. Everyone, as U60 now slowly closing up on the back of Golden. Golden, these two actually used to be teammates in Tier 2. Golden going to do well to let U60 out past him, as Toasty still trying to recover from his unfortunate incident at the beginning of the race. Still don't know really what happened to him, but I'm sure he will tell me after this race, because you know, we need to figure out what went wrong in this Grand Prix. But Mark now seems to be putting on the boosters as he closes the gap towards Young ahead. I need to check, but Mark now unfortunately picking up a 3-second time penalty. And this is all playing into Solz' hands. Solz now on for, at minimum, a P2 finish here in this Grand Prix. Again, still cannot believe I'm saying this, but amazing job from him, as we're going to jump back to Frenny, who is, sorry, we're going to hop on board with Queso, who is actually on the back of Frenny. Frenny, of course, on the soft tire, but Queso on the hard tire. But Frenny's tires are going to be dying at this stage of the race. And, but now we're going to watch Queso try and gain on the back of Frenny. Frenny going to have to pit again for sure. There's no way he will not be able to in this race. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on the left side of our screen as we see Solz cut the gap now to 7 seconds to Mark ahead. Of course, 9 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and a 17-second deficit to close to Young ahead. But those tires are going to be screaming. Young going to be struggling. He's going to be driving on rubber bands by the end of this race, as there is 8 laps, of course, in the difference of the tires. Solz still pushing on now within 6 seconds of Mark ahead, as Mark seems to make a mistake as he loses a second to Young. Hopefully Mark won't hold Solz up too much. He'll be able to charge for the win here as we watch Queso slowly but surely gain on the back of Frenny ahead, as he continues to pounce on the soft tire runner. Actually, Queso looking to try and possibly line up a move through the tight section in the middle of the race, but no. Frenny really struggling on these tires. He's been on them now for 3 laps, and the hard tire probably only really good for 1. Of course, this track still very high downforce, but it seems going to get a little bit of help from his teammate, who actually isn't in the race. Of course, possibly just a lapped car. My apologies, sorry, I thought I heard something. I'm going crazy. As now, we're going to hop on board with Mark, as we actually see the lapped car of Risers behind, and that gap slowly but surely continue to close, as Solz continuing to make up lost ground to Mark. And if Mark is closing to Young and Solz is closing to Mark, then that means Solz must be the fastest of the 3 out there as it stands, meaning Young could be at risk here. I'm not sure. 15 seconds still separates the two, as Mark may do well to move out of the way of Young, or move out of the way of Solz and say, here you go, kid, come on, take this race win. But as it stands, I don't know. But I think it could be a two double Canadian podium here in Singapore, which would be very, very interesting to see. But now we are going to hop on board with Golden Sniper, who just came out of the pits and is now on a fresh set of boots here on the hard tires here around Singapore. Just ahead of him is teammate Toasty. Few drivers ahead may still have to pit though. Freeney, for sure, one of those drivers. MJW, I'm not sure if he can go many more laps in this race. Of course, he's going to be struggling. Dr. B as well, struggling out there as well, it seems. Queso will not. But as it stands, Freeney, MJW, and Dr. B may be the ones that have to pit, meaning a net 3 positions could be gained for the Alpine pair if they are within the time difference, which I think they are well within that time gap to get in the top in the deeper into the top 10 than they would have been previously. As Solz still driving the wheels off of his chrome McLaren here around Singapore. Maybe it's the car. Maybe it's the chrome McLaren doing the work here around this race. Maybe it's just overpowered, but Solz doing an amazing job in this race so far to catch up to the top 3. Still very close, closing about a tenth every single corner. He's flying here, ladies and gentlemen. He is cooking on this racetrack. I just want to watch this. This is all I want to watch, but I'm actually going to hop back on board with Freeney, who gets passed by El Queso, but Freeney now going to try and make a move here, as Freeney really losing the car here. His tires are dead. 5 laps in the soft tire. He wants to prove me wrong. He wants to make it into this race, but I think there has to come a point where you just can't drive the car anymore, where your wheels are literally falling off the car. He loses El Queso within a series of 2 or 3 corners, as Queso, I think, finally gets past him, but Freeney now really struggling for grip out there, sliding and slipping around everywhere he goes. No matter what, unable to keep the car in a straight line as he heads to the bridge section. No rear traction at all. He's definitely going to have to pit within the next few laps here. As Golden Sniper now getting very close to the back of his teammate. Now 2 seconds separates them. He's going to tap the wall a little bit, but no wing damage, I think. Of course, Tier 3 does run on a lower damage model than the higher tiers. But now we're going to watch Solz. Still, gotta watch the GOAT here. As he now lines up Mark, or sorry, he does not, but he does see Mark down the racetrack. He does see him. So now he knows that a fight is going to ensue. You can see the time leaking out every single corner. I don't know if Solz is going to be able to make the charge up to Young, but at the moment he's guaranteed P2. But Young still going to be fighting those tires. As Freeney now heading into the pits, he's going to hop on a pair of soft tires. As it is now that the Alpine duo pass the pit lane and actually get past Freeney. Freeney on the soft tire. Actually looks like that possibly even Flyer DJ may unlap himself here, but now Solz unable to get DRS from risers, but is going to move himself out of the way, as now Solz and Mark are free to do battle here around the streets of Singapore. Solz still no DRS for him, it seems, as he's going to try and gain up to the back of Mark here. And now it's going to be a brawl. It's going to be a fight between the McLaren and the Red Bull, very similar to last season, of course, last season in real life, between Lando and Max Verstappen. But Solz on the fresher rubber. Let's see what he can do. The underdog of Solz. I don't know what his best finishing result so far this season is, but I don't think he's been doing too amazing so far. But it seems like Singapore, he's just found his knack. He's so much faster than Mark, who is ahead of him. Of course, Mark may just simply not defend this. Of course, Solz now going to go for a very early move on Mark and unable to get the move done, but now is going to have the DRS, is going to have an attempt. I don't think he's going to make anything done, as Mark probably just going to do whatever he can to slow Solz up, say, hey, you're not going any further. In this race, Young, of course, making the one-stop work, but his tires are going to be screaming. Let's watch on board with Young and see how he's doing. He's actually not doing a horrible job here managing his tires. Actually able to hold on to them pretty well and actually able to gain on Mark behind, as these two continue to battle. Will not help in Solz's attempt to fight. The longer they fight, the longer Young has to hold on at the front. As Solz now, this is going to be his opportunity. This is where he's going to get the DRS, where he has the traction. This is where he's going to be able to try and make a move. Mark going to lag back a little bit, possibly catch Solz off guard. Solz going to try and launch a move down the inside, going to leave the space on the outside. And actually, he's going to get that slam dunk move done. Open the DRS again. Now, he should be clear to pull away from Mark. Mark may make a retaliatory move into the next corner, but no, Solz able to hold that position now in P2, and now begins the charge. As actually, it seems like Toasty has fallen backwards a little bit, as he's missing an end plate. So I'm wondering if possibly in golden passing there might have been a little tangle up between the teammates, or possibly even between Freeney, as we saw the type of move he pulled on U60 earlier in this race. I wonder if he maybe recreated it with Toasty. But let's see Solz now, as he is going to begin his charge now. 4 laps to go in this race to close 11 seconds. I don't know if it's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, but we can sure hope Mark actually able to hold on to the back of Solz because of the DRS, but 3-second penalty means that he won't be able to go any further than that. Louis, actually, I think U60 is falling off the back of Louis. Sorry. But Solz actually able to close the gap by almost a second within not even one lap. So if anything extraneous happens to Young in the front of the field, Solz will be there to capitalize any mistake from Young in the front, and Solz is there to pounce on the opportunity and take his first ever race win here in IRL. We're going to hop back on board with, I believe this is not Toasty, but Freeney, who is in a good group of cars here, including the other Alpine driver of Golden Sniper. Of course, that soft tire is going to be way faster than anyone else, but it's going to die in a lap or two. Golden just going to have to try and hold on to his position here in this Grand Prix. Dr. B, MJW, and Young all going 17 laps on that hard tire. They're going to be screaming. They're going to be struggling here. But Frenny now, will he be able to try and close up to the back of the Alpine Golden Sniper here in this Grand Prix? As very close to hitting the wall. Going to be very, very late on the brakes. Actually almost making contact almost with Golden there. So now opening up the DRS on the fresher tire. Golden gonna do whatever he can to defend this position. I know him, and I know that Aussie might he's gonna hold on with everything he has. As now they're actually close to the back of Dr. B, as now there's a yellow flag in Sector 3, as I believe that maybe Flyer DJ in the wall. As Pitter Patter's gonna come through behind. So I was just wondering what that was. As a Golden Sniper now, still trying to do his best to defend from Frenny behind. Frenny, of course, on those soft tires. They're going to fade away very soon here, possibly within the next lap or two. And Golden now going to try and go for a defense here. Is Frenny not going to try any late moves on Golden? Actually, Dr. B losing 2 positions. Did not realize that. As I cut away for the yellow flag, I apologize for that. But these tires is unable to hold on. Solz now closing the gap to 9.5 seconds, but going deep into the last sector. Not going to help his attempt to get Young for the lead. Young having more battery or lower wings possibly here. As Solz continues to charge on around this racetrack. Going to cut back now to Frenny and Golden. As Frenny now really struggling. Yellow flag in Sector 1, as that is, again, Flyer DJ in the wall. But enough of that. We're hopping back on board with Frenny, who is sliding all over the place. Almost spins now into the middle sector. But Dr. B going to be the only one happy to hear about that. But because I think at the moment the hard tires may actually just be better than the soft tires. Solz now the gap to 9.2 seconds mark, falling away from Solz behind. Reiser's picking up a 3-second time penalty. Let's look at the penalties actually. This is important, as seems like Queso is safe from MJW behind. But we're going to keep watching Frenny as he attempts to catch Golden, but at the moment it just seems like it's all for naught. Flyer DJ in the wall for a 3rd time within 1 lap. Unfortunate for the Ferrari driver sitting in P16, but a happy day for his teammate in P7. As Solz continuing to close that gap, 2 laps to go in this Grand Prix. I don't think it's going to be able to happen, but now Solz actually going to get the double DRS because of the car in front of him, I believe. No, he doesn't get the DRS, so I think it may just be wraps for Solz, but you never know. Again, like I said, one little mistake, one lockup, one brush of the barriers, a little bit of wing damage for Young, and this race falls fully into Solz' hands here. But let's see what he can do now, as he's still chopping away that gap. I think he's closed about 3 seconds in 4 laps. Amazing pace from Solz, of course, on the fresher tire. Really throwing the car around on the last lap now. Will Solz be able to do anything here? We're going to hop back on board with Frenny, as I'm going to see what he can do, if he can get past the Alpine of Golden Sniper ahead. Golden seems to stay within the white lines, and he'll be fine. But now Golden actually catching up to MJW just ahead. No DRS, I don't think, for Golden. Or possibly he does, no. But now could be on for a second to last lap pass, because he isn't on the last lap. He's not on the lead lap like Young and Solz are, who are still at the front racing away. So Golden now could be on for a P7 finish ahead of MJW, as unfortunate for Toasty sitting in P11. Not the way that he wanted his race to go for sure. Golden Sniper now really making a charge up to the back of MJW. Will he be able to make anything happen here as it seems that Frenny is still holding on to the pair of them, but Frenny's tires are gotta be screaming now. He's actually lost over a second out of DRS range now from Golden Sniper, and this is Golden's opportunity now, his golden opportunity in this race to take home some good, well-needed points for the Alpine team, as Red Bull score very well in this race, sitting P3 and P4. Golden going to brake super late, just trying to get past MJW here in the closing stage of this race. MJW going to shut the door on Golden through the first sector and now try and recover whatever he can. Fireworks come across the line as Young wins the Singapore Grand Prix. Solz 3 more laps, 4 more laps. He probably would have had it. Unfortunate, but a P2 finish. He said he wanted to be back on the podium, and he is back. The young Canadian steps on the podium for, I believe, possibly only the first time in his IRL career. Mark coming home in P3, but we're going to hop back on board with Golden, who is still racing MJW until day's break here around Singapore, but he's still very close. Going to try and line up a move. Going to have the traction now. He will have the battery. He will have the DRS. He will have everything that he needs to try and overtake MJW on this last lap. He goes into a gap. He hits the wall. The grandstands rise for him now as Golden is going to push his way past MJW. Frenny now lining up a move as well, but the tires just unable to hold on. Golden last lap pass on MJW. MJW coming home P8, Frenny P9. Dr. B getting his first points of the season, I believe, in P10. Toasty with his first non-points finish in P11. Unfortunate race for him, as Pitter Patter are going to be set to bring home P12, and JJ now, Ghost Car, crossing the line in P15, and Pitter Patter coming by in P12. And here he goes. Bang. That was an amazing race. And now we cut to the podium ceremonies here. We have I'm going to skip podium ceremonies, so I apologize everyone. We have a few people here. Driver of the day. Let's see now. I will take these screenshots for MJW because he might want them, despite being on the stream. I actually see Golden Sniper comes through. Golden, one sec. Golden, one sec. Golden, one sec. Golden. So I'm gonna have to send the race results very quickly. Now I would like to thank everyone who watched this race. Okay, Golden's mic's coming through the thing, and it's very loud. I apologize greatly, guys. It's very loud. Toasty, one sec. I'm just going through the incident page. Sorry to anyone if they can't read this, but thank you all for joining me here in this race, and yeah, it's great.